Hello, so welcome back. We're going to be talking about prepositions of direction. This video may be a little bit longer. Prepositions of direction can tend to be a little bit more complicated. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to think about it and do a lot of practicing. Practice makes perfect. And then you'll have your, what I like to call, aha moment. It'll be so overwhelming and confusing. And then one day you'll think, aha, I got it. Amanda is not crazy. Amanda makes sense. But no, seriously, go with the flow. Just relax, take a deep breath. It can be complicated, but just look over it every day for a little bit of time. Don't spend hours, and practice makes perfect. And then you'll have your aha moment. But let's get into it. Prepositions of direction. This is movement from one place to another. Like, where is something going? Where is it coming from? So we're talking about direction today, but there's a little bit more to it. Let's get into it. First of all, let's go over some preposition words that we probably have heard of. We just may not have known they go with preposition of direction. First one is across. This is movement from one side of something to the other. The dog ran across the street. My phone is across from me. Against. So this is going to be movement that causes physical contact. My phone is laying against my hand. And it could also be movement in the opposite direction to something. Walking against. Strong wind is very tiring. So this is movement, but we're walking against it. They pushed all the furniture against the wall. All right, let's go to the next one. Along. So many of my mathematicians out there might have heard the word linear. We often hear this in mathematics. Linear is just another word for straight line. It's just a fancy word. I felt like being fancy today. So linear, straight line. You can cycle along this promenade for miles. Basically, you can cycle straight along this promenade for miles. So when you hear along, we're talking about straight or linear. Away from, movement increasing the distance between people or things. So see my hands? They're moving away from each other. So I'm increasing the distance. The cat ran away from the dog. Please go away. Like, you're going to increase the distance between us when you move away. So you, me, away from. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's talk a little bit more about prepositions of direction because, it can be a little bit complicated. So we can talk about the destination of movement or movement relative to something else. And they're typically used with verbs of motion, which you already know is like our action words, like drive, run, walk, swim. And when we're talking about relative, think about this sentence. I have two examples. He drives past our house every day. The manager walked around the office talking to her team. So it's relative to what's happening. So the manager walking around is relative to what's happening in this situation of talking to her team. He drives past our house every day. It's relative to what's going on. So we've got a couple of situations going on, but it's relative to the whole thing. I know it's a difficult explanation, and I'm very, very sorry if that's confusing, but think about it. If you're doing one thing and there's something else going on to the sentence, but they have to do with the same thing, it's relative. Your house, I'm driving every day past it, it's relative to the whole thing. Think about it, work with it. I promise you'll have an aha moment about this. I promise. Destination. I drive to work every day. I have a purpose. My destination is I'm going to work every day. The manager walked into the office to talk to her team. Her destination is, when she began walking, is to go to see her team, walked into the office to see her team. That was her destination. All right, let's go to the next one. Around. We're talking about movement in circles, change of direction, relative. The moon goes around the earth. They're going to travel around Europe this summer. Ooh, wouldn't that be awesome to go around Europe? See a lot of beautiful countries. She turned around and waved goodbye. So her turning around is relative, so she could wave goodbye. So, all right, hang on, there's more. Behind. So obviously we know behind me is my picture of elephants. This is movement following something or someone, something moving out of sight. So we had to drive behind the lorry for miles. So we were behind it, it was in front of us. If you look at the picture, some beautiful clouds. Do you see the sun? No, you do not see the sun because the sun disappeared behind the clouds. My phone is behind my head. All right. Down from. And then, of course, from. Let's start with from before we get into down. So, because we're hearing from here and there throughout this video, from is always going to be the starting position of the movement. Where did something start? Where did you fly from? Where did you come from? So it's the starting point, our starting position. So down, movement from a higher to a lower place. Can you get me that book down from the top of shelf? So we're going to use from because where is the starting point? Well, the starting point of where that book is at the top shelf. Bring it down. We'll be home before the sun goes down. So the sun is going to go down and then it's going to be dark. Then we have to go to bed. No fun. All right. Let me move on to the next one. Woo, a little bit big there. Okay. More of probably what we've heard of. In or into. This is movement to the inside or interior of something. So think of it like inside of a box, inside something. The children jumped into the pool. So inside the pool. And my dogs are very excited about this. Did you hear Rex? Please take those dirty boots off before you come in. So before you come inside the house, in the house, take off your dirty boots. Off. This is movement down or away from a place or a position or to remove something, like take off your shoes. The boy fell off his bike and hurt his elbow. Boy, it's like a zoo today. Now there goes the cat. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. He took off his jacket when he arrived. So he had his jacket and then he took it off. All right. Let's go to on or onto. On or onto. We're talking about movement to a position on a surface. Like think of it this way. You're on a boat on the lake. You're on top of the lake. Or it could be area or object, like I was just saying, on a boat, which is an object, on the lake. Everyone cheered as the band walked onto the stage. So they're going on, standing on the stage, onto. The train is about to leave, but if you hurry, you can still get on. So again, we're moving on a surface, area, or object. Out of. We're movement from an interior to an exterior position. So interior, remember, we're talking about inside. Exterior would be outside. So I'm inside my house. That would be my interior. If I'm going to exterior, I'm going out of my house into the street. He took his keys out of his pocket. So inside of his pocket, I put my hand in my pocket. Interior, I'm inside my pocket. I take them out exterior because they're out of my pocket. So anytime you hear interior and exterior, interior inside, exterior out, outside. I always let the cat out before I go to bed. All right, let's move on. my phone just went over my head. Movement at a higher level than something else. My phone went over my head, it was higher from one side to the other and covering one thing with another. So the horse jumped over the fence. They could see the boats on the river as they drove over the bridge. She put her hand over her mouth to stop herself from screaming. Past. This goes beyond something. So we know past, like if I'm talking about something in the past tense, like history, maybe I went to the store yesterday, I walked yesterday, that's our past. But it also is a preposition of direction. So for example, he walked past us. So here is me, here is him, and he walked past us. So if you've ever been somewhere and somebody walks past you, through, movement into one side and out of the other side of something. They often walk through the park on their way home. So park is really big. It's easier if you cut through it to get to the other side. So when you walk through something, sometimes you may be somewhere where it's easier to go through a store to get to the other side. I'll go through the store to get to the other side of the parking lot. All right, let's go to the next one. To. We know to. Movement to a destination or person or thing that receives an object or an action. So if I'm talking about destination, are you thinking about going to England? England would be my destination. So I'm going to put to in front of England. Are you thinking about going to Switzerland? Are you thinking about going to Florida? Those are my destination. But what if I'm going to receive something? Could you pass that plate to me? Maybe I'm going to give something to you. I'm going to give a gift to you. So when you give something to someone or you receive something, that's a preposition right there. Preposition of direction, because I give it to you, you give it to me. It's movement. We're moving. I'm giving you a plate. I'm giving you a fork. You're giving me a spoon. Do you see how it's movement? And we're passing things to each other. And then, of course, destination. If you're going somewhere, I'm going to the store, going to England. All right, enough of that. Towards, movement in a certain direction. But we're not talking necessarily about our destination. She started walking towards me, but then she stopped to talk to someone else. So she didn't make it to me. I'm her destination, but she stopped first because she wanted to chit chat with her friend. So towards doesn't mean we're going to make it to our destination. We'll take a little break, have a little chit chat. All right, let's go to the next one. Under. My phone is under my chin. The mouse ran under the bed. We're talking about movement on a lower level than something else. Something is under. This hand is now under this hand. Up. I think these are a little bit more easier. So I'm going to rush through these a little bit faster. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Up. Movement from lower to higher. Please put your hand up if you know the answer. Oh, me. I know the answer. The cost of living has gone up in a lot in recent years. So groceries has gone up. The price was here. Now the price is up here. Anything that raises, woo, it's up there. The plane goes up in the sky. All right. If you want some practice time, practicing too. Where do you go after school or work? I go to the gym after school. I go to my house. I go to the park. You can practice where you go. Let's go with, what's the difference between in and into? I am in the room. I walked into the room. So if I'm currently somewhere, I'm in there. But if I'm going into it. Can you come into my home? I am in my home right now. That went a little bit too fast. I'm sorry about that. But in any event, those are some practice questions. Um, might be one of your aha moments. It's going to be a little bit overwhelming. Practice makes perfect. Always know you are not alone in this. I'm always here to help. So I love your messages. I love your questions. Let me know what I can do to help. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.